Cursor reportedly crossed $2 billion in annualized revenue this year. More than 1 million developers are using it every day, and more than half the Fortune 500 uses it. It's one of 5 tools most lean AI founders are now running. A founder spent 2 years building a B2B SaaS product, spending $200 a month on these tools, and got it to $300,000 a year in revenue. Investors wanted in, and then they backed out because the product was fine, but the finances were a mess. The 5 tools I'm about to show you are for building your product, but the finances, which we're also going to talk about, decide whether you're able to raise money. The first tool is Cursor. Cursor is an AI-first code editor. You describe what you want, and it reads your product, plans the change, and makes it. It's the dominant tool for technical founders building right now. With Cursor, one engineer gets through the kind of work that used to take a couple of them. Number 2 is Claude. Claude does 2 jobs for founders. Claude Code is what a lot of them now build with. You describe what you want, and it writes and edits across your whole code base, which is why so many startups lean on it the same way they lean on Cursor. And the regular Claude apps handle the parts of running a company that aren't code: research, writing, customer interview synthesis, strategy, marketing drafts. You drop in customer notes and Claude finds their patterns. You paste in a half-formed strategy and Claude walks you through what's missing. So one founder can cover research, writing, and strategy work that used to mean bringing on extra people most early-stage startups can't afford yet. Number 3 is VO. VO handles the slowest part of building a front end, getting from a rough design idea to working interface. You describe the UI you want, and VO generates the components and the code. Technical founders drop it into their app. Less technical founders use it as a starting point. What VO takes off your plate is the first design pass and the repetitive front-end work that used to slow shipping down by days. Number 4 is Notion AI. Notion AI is where founders run the operations of the company. Documents, project tracking, customer notes, internal knowledge base. You drop everything that used to live across 6 different tools into one place and search across all of it at once. What Notion AI covers is the operations work, the basic CRM, and the internal wiki a head of ops used to keep up by hand. Number 5 is Intercom Fin. Fin is the AI customer support agent. It handles support conversations on its own, reading your help center, answering, escalating to a human only when needed. Fin charges around $1 per conversation it closes, and it resolves somewhere between half and 2/3 of conversations it handles. Fin handles the support volume that used to push founders into making their first support hire. These tools work extremely well, but the bigger story is what they cost compared to what those roles used to cost in salary. At the earliest stage, a whole stack is cheap. Cursor Pro is $20. Claude Pro is $20. VO has a free tier. Notion AI is around $20 per user. Fin charges by the resolution, so you only pay when it resolves a conversation. The core 5 tools run $60 to $80 a month at the bottom. Adding hosting, a database, payment processing, and a domain, and the whole stack lives under $200 a month at the start. A solo founder running the stack at the beginning is paying less per month than the average gym membership. As the company scales, costs increase to a few hundred a month for the seat-based tools. But the new variable is AI inference. Every customer interaction the product runs through a model costs money. Founders running heavy AI product workloads see inference costs climb to $1,000 or $1,500 a month at 10,000 MRR, and 5,000 to 8,000 a month at 50,000 MRR. The compute became the new payroll. It scales with the company, but it's enough to notice once you're moving. Compare that to what these roles used to cost. A 2 to 3 person early stage team covering engineering, design, and front-end work runs $600,000 to over $1 million a year. Once you load in benefits, payroll, taxes, and equity. A mid-level engineer in the Bay Area runs you around $200,000 to $280,000 all in. A front-end developer or designer is $150,000 to $220,000. A back-end engineer with DevOps experience is $230,000 to $320,000. That's 3 hires. At the start, the stack covers most of that work for a handful of subscriptions. As the company moves, costs scale with usage instead of payroll. One founder plus the stack can cover the work an early team of several people used to handle, and it gets a lot further before needing the next hire. That's what makes a one-person, 7-figure business possible in the first place. Now, with all that said, there's a conversation happening right now about whether this spending always pays off, and it's worth being straight about. The same tools that give a solo founder this kind of leverage can run up a bill fast if nobody's watching. Some of the biggest companies are learning that this year. Uber told its engineers to lean on AI coding tools. Usage climbed to most of its engineering team, and it burned through its entire AI budget for the year in about 4 months. Microsoft handed the same kind of tool out broadly, watched the spending climb faster than anyone planned, and started pulling most of these licenses back this spring. Amazon ran an internal leaderboard ranking people by how much AI they use. and some employees started running pointless tasks just to climb it, until Amazon shut down the board and told staff to stop using AI for the sake of using it. The lesson for a solo founder is simple. Spending more does not mean getting more. Those companies were measuring how much AI got used, when the thing that matters is what it produced. The founders who do this well keep a person deciding what's worth running, instead of letting the spend run on its own. And the only way to make that call is to see the money clearly as it goes out. But that leverage only holds when someone is steering it. The stack covers the repeatable, well-defined work, so you go further before adding the next person. It does not cover the money side, and the money side is about to be the reason most of these companies survive or don't. The 5 tools cover building the product, running it, supporting the people who use it, and running the company's internal operations. Money is not on that list. Founders assume money runs itself the way the rest of the stack does, but it doesn't. The breakdown happens in 5 predictable steps. First, receipts stop attaching. At the start, every spend event is in one founder's inbox. Add a second card and a contractor, a few more vendors, and proof of spend is now scattered across phones, inboxes, and Slack threads. If receipts aren't captured and matched at the moment of spend, month end stops being a close and becomes a chase. Second, categorizing isn't simple. The category a charge belongs to depends on what's it for, not what the bank statement says. A vendor changes their name. The same merchant maps to one category for one team and a different one for another. The reason behind every charge lives in someone's head, not the transaction. Without learned rules and human review, accounting turns into detective work every month. Third, approvals slow things down. The minute spend isn't just the founders, you need controls. Controls create approval queues. Queues create delay, and delay creates messy closes. Fourth, payroll and bills bring timing pressure. Payroll is the first workflow that cannot fail. If cash isn't in the right accounts at the right time, founders start manually watching balances, the exact kind of overhead the rest of the stack was supposed to remove. And fifth, the tools fragment. Banking lives in one place, cards in another, bill pay in a third, expenses tracking somewhere else, accounting bolted on top, syncing only when someone forces it to. Every disconnected tool is another place someone has to keep aligned by hand. By the time a founder feels this, the company is moving. They're already paying customers, increasing revenue, and a stack that's running everything else automatically. Then they realize money is the one part of the stack that didn't automate the way everything else did. And that's what decides whether the company survives diligence. This is the kind of thing thousands of founders use Ro to handle. And now Ro is helping founders even earlier than that. Qualifying startups can apply for free Delaware incorporation right inside Ro in a few minutes without ever leaving the application. It's attorney reviewed, and banking and cards are live as soon as you're set up, even before your EIN. As more one-person startups launch over the next decade, Ro is there to help get them started. Link is in the description. Back to that founder. After 2 years of building, a tight technical stack, Cursor, Supabase, Vercel for hosting, Claude for content, Fin for support, $300,000 a year in revenue, investors at the door, 2 problems were hiding underneath. First, she was tracking her revenue in a spreadsheet, and she was bucketing pilot revenue, one-time setup fees, and her recurring subscription revenue all under the same ARR column. Christian Nentwinch at 13 Bucks Capital, the fintech VC, described this exact pattern plainly. The kind of revenue founders called ARR, he said, turns out on closer inspection to not be ARR at all. It always falls into pieces. They've passed on opportunities the moment the numbers didn't hold up to basic scrutiny. That alone would have been enough. Second, she never opened a dedicated business bank account in the early days. Payments came into her personal account. She moved money out of it to pay contractors. 2 to 3 years of financial history needed to be reconstructed from bank statements, Stripe exports, and old spreadsheets. A 2 to 6 month project that runs $30,000 to $100,000 in accounting and legal fees, plus a delayed or failed raise. The product was fine. The investor passed on the financial controls. This kills serious raises every week. Investors pass on working products if the books don't hold up. So when does a founder realize the spreadsheet is no longer enough? There isn't one moment. There are 5, in order. The first, and the one most founders skip, is incorporation. Founders who set up a Delaware C Corp before the first dollar don't have to clean anything up later. There's no old bank to migrate off of, no history to reconstruct. Starting clean at incorporation is about getting a financial foundation in place from day one. A place to pay your bills, earn a little extra on the cash you're holding, collect revenue from clients through invoicing, and keep accounting simple, so you can spend your time on what actually moves the company: hiring, building, and selling, all without cobbling together a handful of separate tools to do it. The second is the first dollar in. Every accountant gives the same advice: open a business bank account before any money comes in. Most founders ignore this until it's the reason their books are a mess. The third is the first contractor or first hire. Payroll taxes, 1099 reporting, and the contractor versus employee question all show up on the same day. One contractor is manageable, but at scale, it isn't. The fourth is the first outside check. Investors need a legal entity, a cap table, and books they can read in an afternoon. Seed rounds can survive messy books. Series A rounds can't. The fifth is Series A prep. That's when QuickBooks gets converted from cash basis to accrual accounting, and the founder finds out what it costs to restate years of financial history that should have been clean from the start. Michael Stothard, a principal at First Minute Capital, put it plainly: having the right systems in place shows you're the kind of person who can create systems. It signals competence and sophistication, and it shows you're setting up things for scale. The back office is a mirror of the front office. Founders who treat money as something to figure out later signal how they run everything else. The ones who get it right early show up to diligence with the data room already built. So what does it look like to do this right from the start? It comes down to three things. The first is foundation. Incorporate before the first dollar. Run everything through company accounts. A single decision saves $30,000 to $100,000 cleanup, the delayed raise, and the failed round. The second is to pick up the 5 tools and commit. Don't dabble across 12. Everyone uses the same 5 for a reason. The founders who win don't experiment endlessly with the stack. They pick the tools the strongest founders are already using, and they spend their time on the parts of building that aren't solved yet. The third is to treat financial infrastructure the same way you treat a product. Wire it up early, set up the closed loop, connect receipts to transactions automatically, let payroll and bill pay run themselves. The hours you will save aren't just hours of reconciliation. They're the hours you'd be spending on a month-end cleanup instead of building the company. Do those 3 things and you walk into the raise with clean books. The 5 AI tools are the easy part now. Every founder building has access to the same 5. The thing that separates the founders who keep what they build from the ones who watch it slip through diligence is the money side, which is the foundation underneath the company. The only question is whether you set it up before you need it or scramble to fix it after an investor passes. If you want that foundation in place from day one, qualifying startups can apply for a free Delaware incorporation right inside Bro. Attorney reviewed with banking and cards live as soon as you're set up. Links in the description. And if you want to know what happens to ownership once you raise, dilution, terms, control, if you don't understand funding, is up next. See you there.